Marshon Lattimore. He won't be allowed to return until after Sunday's game against the Packers. Evans does plan to appeal the suspension. 49ers released a statement that quarterback Trey Lance underwent successful surgery today on his broken right ankle. With Lance out the rest of the season, Jimmy Garoppolo resumes starting duties while Lance is out. And turning to Jimmy G this season, not necessarily a bad thing for San Francisco, according to ESPN's Ryan Clark.
If you're the San Francisco 49ers, although you wanted to get Jimmy G out of there, you hope to get something in the trade. This is just a lucky happenstance. Now with Trey Lance out, you saw the immediate impact of Jimmy G being comfortable, being able to get the ball to Ayuk, get the ball out to Deebo Samuel, and this team now has a chance, even with a quote-unquote backup.
Browns defensive end Jadeveon Clowney ankle injury out Thursday night against the Steelers. Police in Las Vegas say they're investigating allegations a fan in the stands yesterday struck Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray in the face amid celebrations of Arizona's OT win over the Raiders.
When it comes to hiring, you don't need to be doing all the searching, screening, and interviewing yourself. What you need is Indeed, the end-to-end solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Happy Monday, y'all. Hope you had a great weekend, an up and down weekend here in South Louisiana. Tigers win, Saints lose, Mike Evans suspended. We'll get into all of that. Cole Cubelic next hour. LSU receiver Malik Nabers here in hour number 3. We're looking forward to that. Voice is struggling today, so please bear with me. My apologies. Many of you probably don't like the sound of my voice anyway, so today may be extra difficult, but we'll power through. Let me start with LSU. We'll get to the Saints coming up here in about 15 minutes. That'll allow me at least 15 more minutes before I send my blood pressure through the roof and, blow a gasket. The reason I have no voice today. I'll explain that. I thought LSU's win over Mississippi State was massive. I don't want to overstate it, because I don't think, as an LSU fan, someone who loves or follows the program, you should be doing cartwheels and backflips over a win over an unranked Mississippi State team. But a few weeks ago, when LSU lost to Florida State, I told you, you got to keep in mind who you are, not who you were, who you are. Who you were, 2019 national champ, you're 3-time national champ since 2003, all that stuff is part of what will help rebuild, but who you are right now as a program coming off of back-to-back losing seasons, new head coach, new staff, new support staff, your roster had atrophied. You turned it over. You're talking about transfers from East Tennessee State and FIU and McNeese and ULL. That's who you are. UTSA. That's who you are. That's who you are. And you're building back to what you want to be again. Mississippi State, meanwhile, is in year 3 of Mike Leach. He's had the same defensive coordinator in Zach Arnett, who's very good at what he does. Will Rogers, at this point in his career, is by a mile the best quarterback option that Mike Leach has had during his time in Starkville. And still, LSU beat Mississippi State by 2 touchdowns. When you are at your lowest, when you are trying to ascend and State is at a stable place and you still beat Mississippi State by 2 touchdowns, when you are a home underdog in this game for the first time in 20 years, 22 years to be exact, That is a balance of power game. I explained this before, I'll say it again. When you're LSU and you're in the SEC West, and every year you have to play Alabama and Auburn and Texas A&M and Florida, there aren't many gimmies on the schedule. So say it another way, if you're Ohio State, when you get your schedule and you see Rutgers on the schedule, you've got to be able to take out a Sharpie and scribble a W next to that game. Because you know you got Penn State and Michigan and Wisconsin, potentially a lot of big games ahead. When you're in the Big 12 and you're Oklahoma and you get the schedule, you need to be able to take your Sharpie and scribble a W next to Kansas. Now, Kansas is actually playing pretty good right now, but you understand the point. There have got to be certain things that are a certainty. And when you're LSU, beating Mississippi State has to be as close to a certainty as possible. LSU's worst team ever won 2 games under Curly Hallman in 1992, beat Mississippi State. Like, you've always got to beat Mississippi State. So even when LSU is down and State is stable, you still beat them by 2 touchdowns. That's why Saturday was significant. Not because 100 years from now they're going to remember an LSU win over an unranked Mississippi State team. They might, because it's Brian Kelly's first SEC win, but that's why it was significant. A couple of things about the game in particular. Of course, LSU gets down 13-0 in the ball game. What a finish. A 21-point fourth quarter. Your defense allowed just 3 points in the second half. Mississippi State had fewer than 100 yards of offense in the second half. Incredible performance all the way around by LSU to go get that win the way they did. Are there things they need to fix? Absolutely. And that's going to be a process throughout this season of ironing out some of the issues with special teams, of continuing to get more comfortable with Jaden Daniels as your quarterback and he with his receivers, of finding your rotations on the defensive side of the ball. But LSU was massively effective in this ball game, and that was great to see. When you put up 416 yards to 289, when you throw it for 210, run it for 206, when you're balanced that way, you win by 2 scores. When one of your defensive backs wins SEC Defensive Player of the Week, which Jay Ward did, and that was such a huge talking point all week because Jay Ward moved to the nickel, Greg Brooks moved to the safety. That came up aces. When you look at playing Micah Baskerville more, he finished second on the team with 8 tackles behind Jay Ward's 11. The decisions that Matt House made defensively came up aces for LSU against Mississippi State. And so many times that defense had to hang on and come up with big plays. And they did it over and again. The first drive of the game for Mississippi State, whenever they went for it on the 4th and 1 and converted, that was the only 4th down that they successfully converted in the game. I can look at so many spots. Mississippi State on its second possession, up 6-0, gets the ball at the LSU 49-yard line. You force a 3 and out. They go for it on 4th and 1. Major Burns, Mekhi Wingo come up with a huge stop on 4th and 1 to get the ball back when State was in plus territory. I mean, we could go again. When State, deep in its own territory, decided to go for it on 4th and 1. Again, Wingo, this time Jones, came up with the big stop at the Mississippi State 29-yard line. LSU gets the ball, quickly fumbles, sudden change, and that sucks that you were in a spot where it looked like you might be able to tie the game right there. You have a sudden change. Your defense is right back on the field, and they came up with a stop. 3rd and 10 was Savion Jones this time with the sack fumble. Every time it seemed like your defense needed to make a play, they made a play. Even when, and I'll tell you the huge sequence, when LSU in the 3rd quarter went for it on a 4th and 4 and didn't get it. This is when they rolled Jaden Daniels to the left and he threw deep to Kayshawn and he didn't get it. LSU came up with a 3 and out. State went for it on 4th down again, and you got the big pass breakup. It was a huge sequence. When you asked your defense time and again, go make a play, they made the play, which was awesome. It was such a growing process. We got to see Harold Perkins play a ton on 3rd down, even played on the inside. In this game, we saw him play that jack position in Ojulari's spot last week. They moved him inside this week, and he was so good and so effective, which was awesome to watch the freshman take that big step like he did this week with 5 tackles, 1.5 sacks. He was just awesome, and you can see all of the promise and potential of number 40 running out there on the defensive side of the ball. So much to like defensively in this game for LSU. Offensively, we did talk about it. I told you I thought Jaden Daniels would be the leading rusher again, and he was. And this is something that we're going to have to get used to seeing because your offensive line isn't good enough to move bodies to establish a consistent ground game now. They did, late in the ball game, grind a little bit on State. Pickering went out, and that's when you saw Monty Goodwin bust the 47-yarder, which was the capper. But Jaden Daniels, when you absolutely had to put a drive together, Daniels was at his best. End of the first half, State scores to go up 13-0. Remember, LSU took the ball to start the game. They won the toss and elected to receive, which I hated, but they took the ball. They didn't convert, or they didn't get points on that opening drive. Couple of false start penalties set them behind the sticks. State scores late in the second quarter, and they're getting the ball to start the second half. So you've got to get points some way, or you run the risk of being down 3 scores in this ball game. What happens? Williams, an 8-yard reception. Second down, Daniels runs for 13 yards. Williams, a short gain, then Daniels runs for 15 yards. Daniels finds Nabers over the middle. LSU calls timeout. Second down, Daniels runs for 20 yards, and then Daniels calls his own number and gets in the end zone on the touchdown run. When you had to have it, Jaden Daniels took over. In the first half was marred by every drive being affected by a self-inflicted wound. 2 procedure penalties on the first drive. A sack on the second drive. You tried to go for it on 4th and 1. Charles Turner false started. On your third drive, a sack, which set you behind the sticks. The fumble on the next drive. The next drive, you went 3 and out. And then another sack ended the next drive before you finally put together your scoring drive, where Daniels just had to go take over, and he did, which was awesome to see. So, and then we saw how they kind of piled on in the second half. I know that a lot of the conversation around LSU offensively is going to be, you got to get the receivers more involved. Daniels is choosing to run too much. And I understand completely that point of view. It's something on Monday, Brian Kelly, I actually asked Brian Kelly that question. And part of his answer was, we need him to be aggressive because he makes dynamic plays with his feet. But there's times where he's got to be able to make plays with his arms as well, and I think that's going to develop. Brian Kelly said that. I believe that will happen as there's more time and more comfort and continuity here. But in the meantime, there is an undeniable reality with this team that Jaden Daniels doing what he's doing right now is your best path to victory. If you had Joe Burrow or Peyton Manning or somebody like that on the sideline ready to give you more in the passing game, you could consider it, but you don't. What you have is a young player who's careless with the football. The guy leading you right now is a veteran guy who started more than 30 career games, who is protecting the football, making plays when he has to, both with his feet and with his arm, and LSU got a win. And now, tell me you don't feel more confident today about going to Jordan-Hare in 2 weeks. After watching Auburn get pasted at home by Penn State with a veteran quarterback and a good coach, tell me you don't feel good about that recipe going to Jordan-Hare a week from Saturday. What a different conversation we're having today than we were 2 weeks ago, when a lot of y'all were saying LSU was going to win 3 games all year. You know who you are. It's okay. You don't have to stand up today with your hand in the air. It's fine. But enjoy days like Saturday, where you can see the progress manifest right in front of you, where you can see the climb happening right in front of you. Y'all, there's going to be games where they slip, undoubtedly. There's going to be days when we're here on a Monday, frustrated, scratching our head, wondering what went wrong. But there's going to be days like Saturday, and you got to enjoy those. Because when you get to the top of the mountain, you appreciate it so much more when you had to go through the climb. And that's what LSU is doing right now. And Saturday was a big step with the way they beat Mississippi State in Tiger Stadium. All right, it is after further review. We're going to get to a lot of what Brian Kelly had to say. Cole Cubelic, 1 hour from right now. Let me knock out a break, and I'll get to the Saints and probably lose my voice again. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Maybe the most brilliant marketing plan I've ever seen. Buy one, list one free from Darren James. I mean, I could explain it in deep detail to you, but it's this easy. Hire Darren to represent you on the purchase of your new home. He'll sell your current home for free. It's that easy. 335-7666, 335-7666. That's Darren's cell. Call Darren right now. Ask him about it. Say, I just heard it's going. Look, Darren, I'm listing my home by owner. You mean to tell me you will represent me? You will sell my home and I won't pay you a commission? Yes. Yes. You don't want to pay a commission to a realtor to sell your home? Call Darren right now. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
And he's got this team humming, boy. They are playing some defense, and they're going to go to 2-0 with a 20-10 win here in New Orleans.
That's how it sounded when Fox wrapped up the broadcast. The Bucs beat the Saints 20-10 in New Orleans, snapping a 7-game regular season winning streak that the Saints had held over Tampa Bay. The end of the game was marred by a melee and a slew of turnovers, 3 Jameis Winston interceptions, and it kind of fell apart for New Orleans in the end. I have no voice today because of that game. And it was, listen, I'm an open book. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. And I was not in the dome. I was in my den watching the game by myself. And after the melee, which ejected both Lattimore and Evans, and then the subsequent phantom unnecessary roughness call against Roby, and the hold that they called erroneously against Cam Jordan, which was really Shy Tuttle, which Fournette took a dive. When Perriman scored the touchdown to put Tampa up 10-3, I let out the loudest string of full-throat vulgarities that you could possibly imagine. And then after Jamel Dean recorded the second interception, I did something I haven't done in a long time. I turned the game off. And I went to the movies. I went and watched Clerks 3 yesterday. Swear to God. Went to Movie Tavern on City Place. I think it was the only place playing it still. Went back, caught up what I missed. But I've said, look, the Nolan no call for me was the most violated I ever felt as a fan. I'm not, again, I don't want to rip off old scabs, but I'm going to bring this up just to make a point. And the Saints didn't lose to the Rams in that championship game because of the Nolan no call. It just eliminated an opportunity to win it right there. The Saints had their opportunities. They trailed in the game. They even had an opportunity in overtime against L.A. And Brees threw a pick, and then the Rams kicked a field goal and went. You didn't lose because of that. You had 60 minutes plus to win the game. You didn't do it. Same here. The Saints didn't lose the game to Tampa because of the refs. But last week, when the Saints beat Atlanta, sat here and I said, hey, look, you never apologize for how you win in the NFL because it is so hard to win in the NFL. Ask Joe Burrow today how hard it is to win in the NFL. His kicker misses a PAT, and they end up losing week 1. And then week 2, they have to dig out of a 17-point hole. They tie it, and then Brett Maher kicks the game winner on a drive led by our guy, Cooper Rush. I mean, it is hard to win in the NFL. Very hard to win in the NFL. The margins are so slim. So when you feel like officiating is putting thumbtacks on the ground in front of you and making you tap dance around them, making it even harder, just another obstacle to overcome, sometimes that's tough to bear, and that was the case Sunday. I'll tell you, if Nolan no call, and I was in the Dome that day, is the most violated I ever felt as a fan, that sequence that happened yesterday was maybe a close second. Listen, the Saints didn't lose that game because of the officials, and I could point out a dozen things in that game that were the reason New Orleans lost. You had the opening drive you put together beautifully, and you stalled out in the red zone when you had a great chance to draw first blood. You kicked a field goal instead. Tampa Bay gave you a gift with the Tom Brady fumble. You couldn't convert. There were just too many moments whenever you're in a tie ball game and you're finally getting some traction offensively and the running game is going. The leading rusher in franchise history coughs up the ball at the 10-yard line when you're going in to take a lead. That ain't nothing to do with the refs. Jameis Winston throwing 3 fourth-quarter interceptions, that's nothing to do with the refs. Look, I don't even mind the first one. He took a deep shot. He did throw it into double coverage, but they took a shot. They took a deep shot. Dean made a great play in the end zone. That happens. But, man, it sure can make winning in this league even more difficult when you are off the field. You're off the field defensively. And they throw a phantom unnecessary roughness call, a personal foul call against Bradley Roby. Not only does your defense have to come back on the field, but, hey, Tom, here's 15 yards. And then the holding penalty as well. I mean, it's no surprise that right after that is when they went up top and scored. I mean, your defense was probably physically and emotionally in that moment drained. Now, the complete unraveling after that sucked and was very disappointing to see unfold. But it's also like you'd been hanging on, scrapping for everything, and then, you had the rug pulled out from under you, and you had to somehow try to rally. They didn't do it. So the Saints fall to 1-1 in the season. Tampa moves to 2-0. We did find out from the NFL today that Mike Evans has been suspended for a game because of his role in the fracas, or actually causing the melee. I'll spend much more time on that coming up in a little bit. But I do want to talk about Jameis. There were some things in this game that I liked a lot. Okay, Pete Werner continues to be a on Alexander. After completions, had a PBU in the game. Jameis, though. And game from Jay Glazer at Fox that Jameis Winston has 4 literally back. He was 25 PBR. He was terrible. Jameis was as bullish as anybody on the possibilities that Jameis could bring. He was terrible. After the game, Jameis was asked about his back.
Feel like my back.
Dennis Allen was asked about Jameis's back.
Can you elaborate?
He's got a back issue that he's dealing with. I'm not going to go into any of that.
Are you concerned about playing him going forward for tonight?
No, look, we'll see where he's at tomorrow when we come in and go through the rehab, meet with the trainers, and kind of take it as it goes. But look, I feel like he and I both felt like he was in a good position to go in the game, and certainly we didn't do enough offensively to help ourselves, and we've got to improve in that area.
I so very much can appreciate the warrior mentality. Okay, talk to anybody that has ever played this game at a high level. I obviously didn't, but my job allows me to talk to a lot of people that did. From guys that were just trying to make a roster to dudes that are literally in the Hall of Fame like Kevin Mawai and everything in between. Nobody plays at 100% ever. The game is too physical. The turnarounds are too quick. Nobody plays 100%. That is why all of these guys have a warrior mentality. It's just find a way to get me back on the field, which I respect. It's a little crazy, but you kind of have to be to play this game. It's being described like every play is like mini car crashes, right? I respect it tremendously. I respect Jameis wanting to get out there for his guys, with 4 fractured vertebrae. Y'all, think about with 4 fractured vertebrae trying to even stand up, let alone going to play a football game. But it cannot come at the detriment of your team's success. At some point, you got to tap your helmet and say, this isn't good for the team, or someone needs to protect him from himself and do what's best for the team, and that's Dennis Allen. If they collectively made the decision, they thought Jameis was good to go and he was going to give it a run, cool, awesome, again, respect it. But y'all, it was so obvious his accuracy was not there. We've seen Jameis and Chris Olave be on point in training camp. Olave had 5 receptions on 13 targets. They misfired on 3 deep balls. 2 of them were open, and he misfired. There was a play where he threw a ball behind Mike Thomas on a quick slant, which is a throw an NFL quarterback has got to make. There was a play in the second half, you'll remember the play, where Jameis was up at the line of scrimmage. He could have run for a first down, didn't, kept waiting through it. Greg Olsen on the broadcast is like, I don't know why he didn't just run. I mean, it was right there. Just take the first down. Because he didn't want to get hit, didn't want to have to slide. I don't blame him. Dude's got 4 fractured vertebrae. But that's the point. When the injury is causing you to play at a level that's a detriment to your team's success, you got to step out. You got to tap out. That's why you have Andy Dalton. And unfortunately for the Saints, this is something that they've gone through for 3 years in a row now. Going back to Breeze's thumb injury. Back-to-back, they had to go with Breeze. Obviously, they had to go with Taysom a couple of years ago. And then last year when Jameis tore his ACL. 3 years in a row they've dealt with this. This is 4 in a row now with Jameis with his back injury. And it's uncomfortable because the Saints went a decade with Drew Brees never being injured, playing every stinking game, or being injured, but not that we ever knew about. But man, like, this is one of those where I don't know what it takes. If it's 2 weeks, if it's a month, whatever it is, you got to give Andy Dalton a shot if a healthy Andy Dalton is going to be a better option than an injured Jameis Winston. That is going to be and has to be the biggest conversation the Saints have this week. You got Carolina this week. It's a winnable game. Panthers are off to a rough start. They're not a very good football team. This is winnable, especially if you've got Andy Dalton churning with those receivers. Y'all know how I feel about Jameis. I think he's got a great potential in the physical ability to be the franchise quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. But not if he plays like he did on Sunday. And with what we've seen in a sample size of him in a Saints jersey, Sunday is the outlier. It's the exception, not the rule. And Tampa's a very good defense. Don't misunderstand me. But a lot of the decisions were very obviously uncharacteristic with what we've seen from him in a Saints uniform in the 3 years he's been in New Orleans. They'll monitor it this week and see what the best path is going forward. But, man, you got Carolina. You got a trip to London ahead. These are winnable games early you got to get because the middle of the schedule is a bear that we've talked about. Got to go get him. And if Andy Dalton's your best bet moving forward because of Winston's injury, then you've got to do that. You've got to make that move. We'll follow it all week. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go around the SEC. I'll come back to the NFL's decision to suspend Mike Evans at the top of hour 2. So in 30 minutes, we'll talk about that. Cole Cubelic's here in 45 minutes. Malik Nabers in hour number 3. Got a jam-packed show. Glad you're here. We're presented by Relief Windows. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Learn more online at rouses.com. Rouses.com or download the Rouse's app. Remember, at Rouse's, they've got curbside delivery options as well. So curbside pickup and delivery options at Rouse's. Download the Rouse's app. Select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick out your items for you. When you pull up, they'll bring them out to you. If you're having a tailgate or a game watch, Rouse's can help. Listen, right now it's 3:32 in the afternoon. You're at home thinking, man, what are we going to do for dinner tonight? Spent all day watching the Saints yesterday. We haven't cooked, don't have anything. No worries. Swing into Rouse's. They've got hot lunch and dinner options every day. Go up to the deli. You can get sandwiches. You can pick out your dinner trays and plates. They've got the hot and boiled seafood kiosk. You want to grab a bag of boiled shrimp for the family, you can do that as well. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, locations all over Louisiana. Rouses.com. Remember, delivery and pickup options, Rouses.com.
Bayou Ford has 15,000 50 all-new Bayou vehicles and free right by you.
They're dependable. Detail with our client.
Years and years of experience. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and available at your local supermarkets or by logging EST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered of cancer, heart, and kidney specialist. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Any victory in the SEC is a great victory. You know, the way we came back in the second half, I think the overall performance from our defense from start to finish was outstanding, and then we rallied offensively and executed much better down the stretch. We'll look to certainly improve on the offensive performance and its consistency for 4 quarters, and continue to work on consistency in the special teams game.
Brian Kelly, Monday after LSU moves to 1-0 in conference play, they beat Mississippi State. Tigers will host New Mexico this week and then head to Auburn on October the 1st. Auburn, meanwhile, lost to Penn State. This week, Auburn is at Missouri. There are tell you how bad Missouri is. Auburn, which just got housed and has no semblance of structure or an idea of what they are. Auburn is a touchdown. I'm sorry, they're at home against Missouri. They're a touchdown favorite against Missouri this weekend. So Auburn's a home favorite against Mizzou in their SEC opener, and then LSU will head to Jordan-Hare. We did find out today from the league that the LSU-Auburn game on October the 1st will be a 6 o'clock kickoff, so a night game at Jordan-Hare for LSU-Auburn. Very glad to see this. A couple of years ago, LSU went and played Auburn. Of course, TJ Finley is the quarterback, and that was the morning kickoff, and it was dreadful. I mean, everything went wrong for LSU that day, like it did in 2014 when they had a freshman, Brandon Harris, playing in that game. So I kind of like the idea of staying on schedule. LSU is used to night games. That's a game day schedule that has a better feel to it. You can't always control that. Tigers are going to play some day games throughout the year, but a 6 o'clock kick for LSU Auburn at Jordan-Hare coming up a week from Saturday. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com, changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, you know where to find them, GMFSmortgage.com, where they always say at GMFS, we want to be your lender for life. So find that local lender, that local loan officer near you at GMFS Mortgage. Hit the loan officers tab at the top of the page. You'll find a local loan officer who can explain all of their lending options and all of your lending options. It's GMFS Mortgage. Online at GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. Herm Edwards was fired on Saturday. So the second Power 5 coach, I'm sorry, he's fired on Sunday. Second Power 5 coach to get the axe. Of course, Scott Frost was already fired at Nebraska after their rough start. The Sun Devils, you can pull this up. Sun Devils lost to Eastern Michigan on Saturday. It was an Eastern Michigan team that was playing its backup quarterback, and it was an embarrassing loss. It was 30-21. It's just been really bad there at Arizona State with look, there's a significant NCAA investigation going on. The video you're watching, if you're watching here on YouTube, that's the Arizona State athletic director effectively on the field telling Herm Edwards that he's going to be fired. Herm goes over to him in the end zone after they're leaving the field after the Eastern Washington loss and It's kind of like a consoling moment, but it feels like they all sort of knew the inevitability. I don't know if that's a you're fired or it's, hey, we're going to see you in the office on Monday and we'll talk about the future sort of thing. But probably a relief for the 68-year-old Edwards, who left television to go coach again and looked like there might be some promise, but it was defensive coordinator Antonio Pierce got him in a lot of hot water. They fired 5 coaches on staff. They lost so many players. Of course, Jaden Daniels is at LSU. Johnny Davis, the big wide receiver, who's now at Florida State, the big 6'7" receiver. Their best defensive lineman, linebacker, their top 2 receivers, all transferred out. There's a dearth of talent. They're just not very good. So probably the right decision to move on. The interesting question really is, what's the better job? Is it Nebraska or is it Arizona State? I mean, Arizona State is a more desirable physical locale. They're in Tempe, in the greater, in Scottsdale, that whole area there. But at Nebraska, you're going to have probably more financial resources, more boosters invested. At Arizona State, in the Pac-12, you've got a more winnable league. But what is the future of Arizona State? Are they staying in the Pac-12 or are they going to move to the Big 12? There's a lot of unknowns there, but Arizona State is a desirable job. You can recruit California. You're in a winnable league. You will have some resources and not immense pressure, like to where they're going to give you time to figure it out. But man, it's whoever does take that job is inheriting a pretty significant rebuild of a roster that is void of talent and with NCAA sanctions looming as well. It will take a very committed someone to take that job there in Tempe and rebuild Arizona State. All right, it's After Further Review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Auburn Tigers.
We mentioned Herm Edwards fired, and just hours after that decision, Brian Harson's name popped up as a potential replacement. ESPN's Pete Thamel identified Harson as a name to watch for the Sun Devils opening. Also mentioned BYU coach Kalani Sitake, former Texas coach Tom Herman, Air Force coach Troy Calhoun, Todd Monken, Derek Mason, Alex Grinch, some others, but Harson would be the name to watch there. He spent most of his career coaching out west. We'll follow it.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Lane Kiffin will not name a starter before this Saturday's game against Tulsa. Shocker. Sophomore Jackson Dart looks like he has the upper hand and should take the first reps. Luke Altmaier also in the competition. 13th ranked Ole Miss, which is 3-0, just blasted Georgia Tech this weekend. They host Tulsa, 3 o'clock Central on the SEC Network.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Josh Heupel predictably advanced the game against Florida this weekend. Wide receiver Cedric Tillman Saturday with injuries and did not return. CBS at Neyland.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky starting outside linebacker J.J. Weaver likely to miss Kentucky's Week 4 game against Northern Illinois. He's listed as week to week with an upper extremity injury. 6'5", 242-pounder was injured on the opening drive in Saturday's win over Youngstown State. Did not return. Redshirt juniors tied for the team lead in tackles despite really not even playing on Saturday. Wildcats and Huskies.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Player in the country committed to Alabama. He chose Alabama over Oklahoma, 6'4", 245-pounder.
The Florida Gators.
And running back Chauncey Bowens out of the state of Florida committed to the Gators on Sunday, 5'11", 215-pounder. He's a 4-star prospect for the class of 2024. He's ranked as the number 13 overall running back in the country. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, celebrating 20 years as the official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. Arizona State. And remember, Pete Thamel is the reporter that broke the news of Auburn hiring Harsin back in December of 2020. And Thamel's one of the reporters that Harsin granted an interview to defend himself last year after the university conducted an internal inquiry into Harsin and his handling of the program. So similar to whenever Bruce Feldman would break news about Ed Ogeron, we set it off. I mean, Bruce Feldman literally wrote the book. He wrote 2 books with Ed Ogeron, wrote Meat Market and then flipped the script. So whenever Bruce Feldman reported anything about Ed Ogeron or LSU, you knew it was gospel because it was coming from either Ed or Derek Panamsky. So you could trust where that was coming. It's the same thing here. The big question is Arizona State interested in Harsin, or is Harsin just looking to get the hell out of Auburn? Which might well be the case. I mean, he knows what he's up against there. He's got boosters that want him fired. They almost fired him after year 1. It's a chance to probably go back out west and have a lot less of a pressure cooker and still be at a major conference school. Maybe that's just Harsin trying to get his name out for this job to sort of subtly announce that he is interested in leaving Auburn, which I think anyone would understand at this point. And it might be mutual. But Harsin's one certainly worth watching there at Arizona State. All right, hey, real quick, brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NFL. You got Monday Night Football tonight. You want to bet? It's easy. Bet just $5 if you're a new customer. Bet just $5. They'll give you $200 in free bets there at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. It's for new customers. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on tonight's Monday Night Football game or any football game. They'll give you $200 in free bets immediately at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. If you're an existing customer, remember, you got same-game parlays. There's so many great deals always. You can punch up the DraftKings app. Like I could pull it up right now on my phone. And a lot of times you'll see recommended parlays right there on the home screen of the app. If you want to bet NFL, if you want to bet college football, futures bets, Major League Baseball with the playoffs right around the corner. How about the Ott Father, by the way? Jimmy Ott yesterday, his 5-pack that he gave out on Football Sunday, went 5-0. If you're not betting with the Otter, you're losing money. You can do it. Bet with the DraftKings app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 early win token issued at opt-in. Moneyline bets only. Deposit and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football. Terms. Licensed partner Gold Nugget League. Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-770-STOP.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We'll talk about the NFL suspending Mike Evans coming up in less than 10 minutes from right now. You can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Julian Ward said Kayshon Boutte won't be there much longer if he's not getting the ball. Brian Kelly was asked on Monday how they get Kayshon more involved. Here's what he said.
This is never one-sided, right? It's never all on the player. It's never all on the coach at this level. I think you have to look at both, right? We got to look at how we can move him around and utilize his talents, and then he's got to continue to work hard and work on his skill set.
To the point made by the texter Julian, I don't think – I can understand why some might be concerned about Kayshon leaving. It doesn't make any sense for him to leave. He doesn't have enough skins on the wall. Jamar Chase opted out. He had a 1,700-yard season. It was fairly – he had played 2 full years. He just didn't play his 3rd year. Kayshon really didn't emerge until late in his freshman season, played half a season a year ago before the injury. Kayshon needs to show that he can be a little more consistent and established. So – it doesn't do him any good right now to opt out. If Kayshon opts out right now and leaves, then what's he going to do? Go train? He may still be a high draft pick and will be a high draft. But the better thing for Kayshon Boutte is to go play, to be a great teammate, and still put out great film now and throughout the rest of the year. Look, I was a preseason All-American. We know he's got incredible physical ability. Teams are scheming for him, and it's opening up opportunities for other guys. Malik Nabers has had a great start to the season. Dre Jenkins has been really good in the red zone. So they're going to get Kayshon the ball, and he's going to get his. It's just going to be a matter of time and when all of that happens. So maybe it'll be this week against New Mexico when he finally – I would have not – look, if you could have gotten a prop bet before the season on Kayshon Boutte going 3 games to start the season without a touchdown, I'd have taken that in a heartbeat. I would have never believed that they'd be 3 games like getting Kayshon in the end zone. All right, it's after further review. I did want to share on a sad note. Many people who have followed Baton Rouge Sports Talk Radio for a long time would know the name Charles Barbary, went by the Rooster. He died on Friday, and I'll tell you this, 2 personal notes with Charles. Number one, I'm always very grateful to anybody who helped me professionally, and when I was very young in this business, he was hosting a show called Sports Talk TV. There's a beauty and simplicity in calling something what it is. And he would invite me on as a guest often, and I'm very grateful for that. I knew Charles for a long time. He and my dad were friends. He loved the United States of America. He was a Vietnam veteran. He loved the Lord. He battled cancer for a long time, and I have no doubt that he is at peace. He was very, very open and prayed for me and my family when Drew was sick and in the hospital. And I'm very grateful to him for his friendship throughout the years. And I'll say this. If today Charles Barbery is not in heaven, then none of us have a chance, because that was as good a man as you could ever possibly hope to know. So may he rest in peace. Condolences to his family. Hour number 3 is coming up next.
AFR.
It's not hour number 3. It's hour number 2 coming up next. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, bumper-to-bumper auto service, and name brand tires at wholesale prices. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. You know where to find them. They got locations all over South Louisiana, from Morgan City, where they started, up into Baton Rouge, west into West Baton Rouge, and all the way toward Lafayette. Yes, even you, Livingston Parish, Denham's got their own Shaw Bills now as well. So find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. They make it so easy. You can go to the desktop or the mobile site at ShawBillsTire.com. If you want to call, you can always call to speak to someone. The website's super easy to navigate. You can schedule service or shop tires online, tabs right there. But if you'd rather text with someone, there's a little chat bubble. Just hit the chat bubble, select the location nearest you, and boom, within seconds you're texting with a Shaw Bills associate. ShawBillsTire.com. For more than 50 years, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.
Come on over to Corval Toyota and meet with a sales specialist to build your new Toyota. It's easy and stress-free. Or if you're looking for a pre-owned, we have a wide variety. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL suspended Buccaneers receiver Mike Evans one game for his role in yesterday's altercation with Saints corner Marshon Lattimore. He's not eligible to return until after Sunday's game versus Green Bay. ESPN's reporting Evans does plan to appeal his suspension. A statement today from the 49ers. Quarterback Trey Lance underwent successful surgery on his broken right ankle. The season-ending injury has a massive impact for Lance and the Niners, notes ESPN NFL insider Jeremy Fowler.
It sets back a development plan that the 49ers had for what they believe is their franchise quarterback. So now he's going to go into year 3 having just a few starts under his belt. 2 this year, played minimal football last year as a rookie, and then, he obviously had the small sample size in college at North Dakota State.
Jeremy Fowler on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Jimmy Garoppolo starts in Lance's absence. Browns defensive end Jadeveon Clowney out Thursday night against the Steelers because of an ankle injury. Police in Las Vegas say they're investigating allegations a fan in the stands struck Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray in the face with an open hand amid celebrations of Arizona's OT win over the Raiders.
Brought to you by Capital One Auto Navigator, where you can find a car, get pre-qualified instantly, and see your real monthly payment without impacting your credit score. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I am sweating.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Cole Cubelic in 15 minutes if you're just joining us. Playing a little hurt. Lost my voice. Screaming in my home by myself, actually, yesterday, watching the Saints. And part of the reason why is the topic we're about to discuss. So if you're watching Saints Bucs on Sunday, you saw a very familiar situation unfold where Mike Evans and Marshon Lattimore got into it again. This is the third very obvious time that this has happened, back in 2017 when Lattimore was getting into it with then Tampa quarterback Jameis Winston. Mike Evans raced across the field, blindsided Marshon Lattimore, and was ultimately suspended for that. A couple of years later, Mike Evans ripped off Lattimore's helmet in an altercation between the two teams. By the way, Lattimore was fined in that one as well. Lattimore shoved Evans. Evans ripped off Lattimore's helmet and was fined. And then on Sunday, we saw what transpired there, which we'll go through here in a second. But the NFL has suspended Mike Evans for one game for Sunday's unnecessary roughness with Saints cornerback Marshon Lattimore. Schefter and others tweeted this earlier today. The NFL released a statement from NFL Vice President of Football Operations John Runyon, who part of his letter to Mike Evans wrote, "Your aggressive conduct could have caused serious injury to your opponent and clearly does not reflect the high standard of sportsmanship expected of a professional." If this were a one-off, I'd be okay with a one-game suspension. I'm not, because this isn't the first time. And that's the biggest problem I have with this with Mike Evans. If it was a one-off and you lost your cool in a alpha males, highly competitive situation, dude's jawing, and you lose your cool and you react, it sucks. Unfortunately, it happens. I'll give you a great example. What happened with Ali Gay against Florida State when he targeted Jordan Travis, which was ugly. Gay's a great dude. He apologized for it. The problem is with Mike Evans, like, this is who Mike Evans is. Mike Evans is a phenomenal wide receiver, y'all. Do you realize that Mike Evans is the only player in NFL history with 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 8 NFL seasons? Only player in NFL history to have 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 8 NFL seasons. He's a phenomenal talent. And as Saints fans, we've got a front row seat because you've got to play him twice a year. You know how good he is. But the Marshon Lattimore matchup is a problem for Mike Evans. That happens. Some dudes just have another dude's number. And Mike Evans has shown that he doesn't have the mental capacity, the maturity to deal with that. And he continues to lash out in a way that is dangerous. I mean, when you go back and watch the 2017 hit he put on Lattimore, full sprint, hit him in the back. Like, what if Marshon Lattimore twisted a knee, twisted an ankle, like a shoulder popped out, and now you miss game time because of that? And then when you see it happen again and again, now it's no longer just a one-off. That's who he is. You know, I was walking into studio today as Hunt and Hill were walking out, and Jeremy Hill reminded me, and I'd forgotten about this, but in 2013, when LSU was playing Texas A&M, Evans did the same thing to one of the LSU defensive backs. And I mean, it was help me. Who was do you remember who it was?
Was it Rashard Robinson?
Robinson. I don't know why I was thinking Richardson. It was Robinson. The thing I always remember about Rashard Robinson is that he showed up and he was like 150 pounds. And he showed up the week before the TCU game, the opener that year, had not practiced at all, showed up that week because he finally got eligible, played and was awesome. It was Robinson, Rashard Robinson. And Evans had a similar spat with Robinson in that game because he was getting owned. And when you're that good, you're not used to someone taking you away. And by the way, that's happened to Lattimore too. Adam Thielen has owned Marshon Lattimore in their matchups. Lattimore's awesome. But sometimes you run up against a guy that's just better. He's suspended. He should be. I mean, listen, loss on Sunday was Mark Ingram's fumble. It's a 3-3 ball game. It's tightly contested. The Saints are finally starting to churn. And Ingram fumbles. He fumbles at the 10-yard line when you're going in. That's what set the wheels in motion. Then everything unraveled. The fight happened. Lattimore and Evans are both ejected. You have the 2 awful penalties against New Orleans. Then boom, up top go the Bucs for a touchdown. A second pick to Dean. And it was over at that point. Marshon Lattimore still is not taking any accountability. I mean, I'm watching SportsCenter or watching NFL Live right now in studio, and they just showed the Mike Evans cut from after the game. And after the game, Mike Evans, do you have the audio of Mike Evans from after the game? Yeah, I'll paraphrase it. But Mike Evans after the game said he punched my teammate, and I was going to defend my teammate. Like, no, he didn't. Tom Brady wanted a PI call. He didn't get it. He's walking. He's not used to having that happen. So he comes back to say something to Lattimore. Fournette shoves Lattimore. Lattimore shoves Fournette. And then here comes Evans. No punches were thrown. 2 dudes shoved each other. Something that happens in literally every NFL game in the history of ever. And sometimes you get offsetting PIs, and sometimes a ref steps in and just separates 2 dudes. Kind of depends on the flow of the game. That wasn't Mike Evans defending his teammate. That was Mike Evans seeing the open door to take a cheap shot out of frustration. Because we've seen Mike Evans do it his whole career. So, still fabricating the series of events. Mike Evans doesn't have any remorse. He's going to do it again when he gets an opportunity to do it again. Hopefully it doesn't hurt anybody. The other guy who's culpable in this, the thing that I would like to see happen is the NFL banish Bruce Arians from the sideline. I get it. He was a head coach. But in that game, you had Bruce instructing Mike Evans right there, basically acting as an instigator of the whole thing. Bruce Arians yelling at Marshon Lattimore. Bruce Arians isn't a coach. He's not the head coach. He's not even a member of the staff. Kai Harley's on the sideline yelling at refs. Come on, man. You're in the front office. That ain't your role. And all Bruce Arians did there was act as a man spent his whole life on a sideline. I'm sure at this point it is what he does. It's the ref, talk to a, and if you can't control that, you don't need to be with the owners, with the Glazers, whatever, and don't and get away from the sideline, because that doesn't need to exist. So I'm glad it's actually further validating that Lattimore and Fournette just shoved each other. That happens in every another cheap shot at a player. That needs to stop and never happen. I was willing to take actual significant action. Again, I don't think this is significant. Didn't get it right. Against Leonard Fournette and Marshon Lattimore, Mike Evans should have gotten a personal foul and then been ejected, and then off you go. Tampa would have lost 15 yards on the play, and you're penalized 15 yards, and then you move on. And you got Mike Evans out of there, and then he's suspended today. But instead, you take the Saints' best defensive back off the field as well for nothing. So, if you're a Saints fan, you're feeling frustrated today, I'm right there with you. It's a big part of why I have no voice today. It was a frustrating sequence of events to unfold, from watching Lattimore get ejected, Evans taking a cheap shot again, a couple of phantom calls against the Saints, and you give Tom Brady that many chances. Tom Brady is going to take advantage, and ultimately they did, and the Saints unraveled. So it sucks, but that's refs. You can change. You can come back. You can come back and penalize after the fact, but it doesn't change the fact of what happened in the game, and that's unfortunate for the Saints because it all contributed to the Saints. A game that the Saints were doing to Tom Brady with it was a carbon copy because of. All right, let me knock out a break. Come back, recap the weekend in the SEC with Cole Cubelic. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Tonight and every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. What a great chance to get by Pluckers tonight, man. Get by either Pluckers location. Dine in on award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Pluckers, been voted a top 10 wing restaurant in America by USA Today, a top 5 sports bar by ESPN. You'll ever eat. Monday Night Football doubleheader. Again against Tennessee. Godfather's bet. So Pluckers. Nicholson just it's
mile powertrain one at Bayou.
business with Luba for 25 years.
Our folks are highly trained. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Mouth-watering our nightly drink. Oyster Bar.
Took us a while.
There you are.
I have been talking. Got the new grill for
My advice?
we're born to do.
Barbecue guys, for those who were born to grill.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba. Every weekday. Country music. You join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all starts. 7, a Tiger.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers this challenging event, and we're right there with you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. Alexandria enjoys victory. Previewed this week in the SEC with Cole Cubelic, presented by Roosters Men's Grooming.
All right, let's get to start 1-0 in the league as they beat Mississippi State. Cole Cubelic, dude. And little annoyed yesterday. So
Cardinals Raiders yesterday. That was
in particular with the Saints yesterday. So we'll make it through.
some adjustments and sort of tinkering with things than it is actual improvement. Like I don't look at the quarterback and say, oh, he's 5 times better than he was week 1. I think they're just allowing him to do some things that suit his game a little bit more, and they're operating in a way successful. The offensive, I don't think, is allowing them that are maybe better fits in certain places. Fall camp and days, you be able to figure out who can hit else, who's not as good as at. It's they have gotten better. I think they've improved on who they are.
You're Jones getting his first start.
Either way, because I think that's still the most difficult position in college football to come in. So much You're going to be out there on an island this year, not on a with Ali Gay and Olajari. 40 involved this week too. I mean, think about going against him in practice every day. Yep. You know, you got Dallas Turner, Will Anderson at Alabama, Derek Hall at Auburn. I mean, it's almost every team's going to have a or guy or multiple guys. So to be able to get in there and just hold your own, just hold up. I'm not even talking about dominating, but just hold up is always impressive to me. And I thought they did a few things with the tight ends, a few things with the protections to help those guys out a little bit more, which is good. That needed to happen. And I think they've quarterback needs to run, and they're going to times, and they've adjusted to that as well. So, again, going back to just some of the things that they've sort of moved around with the offense, shifting in philosophies a little bit, and then putting some different guys in different places to allow for that. But both those guys impressive over the weekend.
Cole, this one's going to hit a little close to home, man. And I don't mean this to be insulting in any way, but does Auburn stink? There's your interruption right there. Daddy, don't say Auburn stinks.
Yeah, he's trying to talk me off the ledge here.
So good.
Before we get going into it. They played a terrible football game over the weekend, and there were a lot of guys that didn't show up that they needed to. The things that we anticipated that would be good or great with them this year so far have not, and I think that's only compounded some of the concerns that we would have. I don't have a problem playing two quarterbacks, but I think there needs to be a rhyme and a reason for it. And you've seen two quarterback systems there at LSU. I've seen two quarterback systems at other places. And I think the early Tebow years are probably always going to be like the go-to of this is how it should be done. Mm-hmm. Or maybe Blake Bell at Oklahoma where, hey, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 4th and goal from the 2, you bring in a guy that's, who can run people over, and he's a better runner between the tackles, can physically sort of take a pounding, not as good of a thrower, and that's how you alternate. Like Robbie Ashford is more dynamic. He can help Auburn win games, but I don't really see because he comes in on the second play of the game, and all right, that's cool. Like show that you're going to play him, show that defense they're going to have to defend him. But then I didn't feel like you give him an array of plays that truly allows him to be effective. Some of them seem like the same plays, whereas he should have a certain set of plays that he can master and that utilizes his ability the best ways possible to help he and the team be successful. I kind of didn't see that. We know where TJ's limitations are, and I thought TJ did a pretty good job running the ball. I think he bailed on his protection a little bit too early at times, and then I think there are other times that he just wasn't protected. So defensively is where I had the biggest concern coming out. I thought the front seven was going to be pretty good, and I thought that was probably a spot that Coach Harsin and his staff could lean their hat on, and you were going to get good outings from them, and they could not stop counter. They could not stop duo. There wasn't much on the ground that they could stop, and a lot of it was backside. I think some of it were calls. I think some of it were guys freelancing. I think some of it was effort, and that's just disappointing to see no matter what. So I'm not in this. It is a little bit alarming, Matt, though, that so many people – like I had so many people texting me yesterday asking about the situation. I'm talking members of the media, like national writers. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, guys, we just finished week 3. They're 2-1. Like, are we to the point now that we don't even want to see if somebody can correct things or alter things? I guess that's just where we are. I don't know. I'm not going to try to fire guys after week 3, but maybe other people are. And I understand the situation in its entirety is kind of ridiculous, all of it, but I just that part of it. And then today, I mean, we had guys on my station in Birmingham that were like, pull the ripcord now. It's done. It's over. I was like, damn. Okay. Well, just not really. You don't hear that very often. So, yeah. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the fans are there, which is what can dictate a lot of it. I mean, I think that's what dictated the end of Malzahn, is that the fans had gotten numb to mediocre or lackluster performances. And when that happens, it is time to move on. Because if you're going to have a hard time getting your fans excited, and it doesn't bother your fans when you go out and don't play well, it's time to go somewhere else at that point. Yeah. But this is a totally different situation from I think that any of us have ever experienced from a coaching perspective. So I'm not really sure if I should be surprised at how any of it's handled.
Cole Cubelic is with us, courtesy of Roosters Men's Grooming Center. Similar question for Florida. They were so good the first week, and they haven't been since.
This is different. So you keep in mind a couple things here. This is still a quarterback that just made his third ever start at home. So he's a young quarterback in the grand scheme of all of it. And also, when you're I don't know what he was in high school, but let's say 6'3", 230, and can run like that. How many defenses do you think he was really diagnosing in high school? I'm going to say next to none.
Yeah.
All right. So now he's from Gainesville, and he's a starting quarterback at Florida. That adds a little bit more to it. Well, he's also learning a new system right now, which I think is actually a better fit for what he is physically, but it's still going to take some time to learn it and truly be confident in it and, be able to operate it and manage it. Which, speaking of that, you want to go back to that Auburn-Penn State game. I watched it again today, kind of looking for something different. And the thing that I think no one's talking about, if you go back and watch it very closely, Sean Clifford is over-communicating on almost every snap before the ball is snapped. I mean, he's directing traffic. He's putting guys in motion. He's talking to his center. He's talking to his backs and tight ends. He's talking to the whole offensive line. He's pointing guys out. He's moving guys. You want to talk about operating an offense effectively, that guy deserves a lot more credit than what he's getting today after going back and watching that game again. Nonetheless, I think Florida's offensive line has improved immensely. I think they're a pretty physical group. I think they have pretty good backs. I do not think they're anything close to what they've been in the past at receiver. I think that's a little bit of a problem because when you have a younger quarterback, you need some erasers, guys who can go out and just make you look good at times when it's not a great throw or it's just a bad throw or if the throw is a little bit behind him, whatever. I don't think he has that. They're not great at tight ends. And their vocal leader, emotional leader, wasn't in the game on defense. And Ventrell Miller's a guy that gets everybody lined up. And he is the heart and soul of that defense, maybe the heart and soul of that entire football team. So I just think there's a lot that goes into it. I'm not going to say that they're an average or not a good football team right now. I thought Travis Trickett had a really good plan in that game. He had a quarterback that won the Big 12 last year, so he obviously can manage things, knows what he's doing. So I'm not ready to stick a fork in Florida just yet and say, oh, they're going to be, a mediocre football team this year. They still have talent. They still have guys. And once they do get a little bit better feel for that scheme on both sides of the ball, I think they have a chance to improve a little bit more.
We'll learn a ton this week with Florida going to Rocky Top. What did we learn about Texas A&M on Saturday?
Well, you learn first and foremost that they're not mailing it in, so that's a plus. The other thing and I don't know if I learned it on Saturday, but maybe regular folks did or didn't care or didn't know or hadn't watched, Max Johnson's just flat out more capable. And it's really the only way I know how to describe it. And there's a couple people on Twitter that didn't like that. I guess didn't like the way that I said that, which I don't really understand how you don't understand it. But a lot of people are dumb. So here we are.
Yeah.
All right. So what I mean when I say that is, first off, let's just go super ground floor. Watch them both throw the ball. Okay? And that's about all it should be. But some people, I guess, their brains can't manage that. He throws a better ball. He can throw the ball harder. He can throw the ball further down the field. He can throw the ball further down the field with more accuracy. He actually throws the ball at sometimes, which that was an issue for him last year, but apparently this year he's doing a bit better with it. And I don't think the mobility, at least when you're talking about in a straight line, is that much different. Because Haynes King might have great mobility, but he didn't use it. He didn't show it. I think he's more twitchy. I think he has better change of direction, so he can outmaneuver guys in the pocket, whereas when Max just decides to tuck it and run, I don't really think there's that much of a difference between the two of them, to be honest with you. I think Max is kind of an underrated runner, north and south. So I think we just learned that they're still a young football team. Like you see some of the young defensive linemen flash, 13 and 5. They flash. They look good at times, but then they just go away. They just disappear. So I think it is a younger football team than we want to believe. It's a younger football team than we kind of want to give credit for. And that's probably part of, I don't know, the media's fault or just whoever thought they were a top 5 team going into the year's fault, because they weren't that. They never were going to be that. They never should have been discussed as that. I mean, you lost your leading rusher. You lost your leading receiver, your tight end. You lost your leading tackler at inside linebacker. You lost 4 starting defensive linemen. Who thought this was the top 5 football team? So it's not really overly surprising, some of the things that are happening. Now, App State shouldn't punch you in the face and not get a response, which is what happened last week. But, they hadn't shut it down. They're still out there fighting, scratching, clawing. I give them credit for that. And I think Jimbo made the right move at quarterback.
Two giant ones coming up in the conference this week. Do you have an early thought on Tennessee and Kentucky? I'm sorry, Tennessee and Florida?
Yeah, Tennessee stresses you so many ways. And I think this is probably going to have to be a game where Florida makes a decision on how they handle Anthony Richardson. And one of my problems that I have with them right now is they're not running him. And part of that is because of the health of the backup quarterback. He's not ready right now. Jack Miller, Ohio State transfer, 5-star kid. And that's fine. That's okay. But you're also subtracting something from your team that can be a massive advantage. And I'm not asking you to be 2010 Auburn. I'm not asking you to run quarterback power, quarterback counter between the tackles, 17, 22 times a game. But you have to at least present it to force the defense to honor it. And defenses aren't right now. They're not worried about what he can do with his legs. So I think they'll finally go back and say, you know what, we got to add some of this. This has just got to be a part of our arsenal, at least early, to kind of show people like what they can do and what they want to do, what they can be, because they're just not getting that right now. And I just don't know if they're good enough at corner, to be honest with you. I don't know if anybody's good enough at corner. I mean, you look at what Alabama is. They're talented, but they haven't been able to stop people. That's going to be a real problem when you play Tennessee because they spread you out. Obviously, they will play single safety, Matt. They're going to throw the game. He ever gets in a game where he's on right away and they're hitting the deep balls early, I'm just saying, well, just watch out because then the offensive coordinator is going to panic and the head defense coordinator is going to panic and make a decision. That's going to open up things in the run game. So it just understands how to steer the ship right now. He has found his calm, and he can have a little bit of a run threat too, which makes him even more difficult to defend. I think a team that can score should be able to go out and score against them, but Florida can't score that way. So back runs, and we're taking the App State plan that they took to Kyle Field 2 weeks ago, and that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to keep them. We're going to hope that Brenton Cox Jr. I'm going to tell Brenton, the orange, get orange, and just the running back's going to have to pay for it. We might hit the wrong. So it's I don't think it's potentially go in and have some success and make.
Of course, A&M and our thought.
Drew Sanders is playing like because Alabama's got. They still could have had him. Not playing great on the back end. They are not playing great ball in the secondary. So if you can find a way to protect and you can find a way to give your quarterback time to push the ball down the field, that's the way to get them. Now, I also, with what I've seen from A&M's front, like I said, they flash a little bit, but then they're out of position and they're gone. Well, Kendall Browse is going to give you all kind of misdirection, all kind of motion. Quarterback's going to keep, quarterback's going to give. They're going to have jets. They're going to have orbit motions. Like they're going to screen you. I don't think that defense will be in position enough to consistently make plays. And I think Arkansas wins that game. They'll probably give up some big plays on the back end and keep A&M in it for a little while. But I think the Arkansas offense will pretty much have their way in that game because of who's directing it and how well their quarterbacks. Like, it's weird to go to watch it like I do, Matt. I'm watching that game on the flight home on Sunday, and I'm like, this Arkansas offense is cooking, man. Like, it's completion, big game. And so obviously the games are a little bit different. You know, there's momentum, there's stops on certain downs and certain plays. But as far as execution goes, like their offensive line, Cody Kennedy's got them playing really good ball. Center Ricky Stromberg's playing high level. The backs run so hard. Like at number 5, man, he can just flat get it. And now Dominic Johnson's coming back, which gives them like kind of a thunder and lightning, like a big back and a rocket back, Rocket Sanders. But like they've got it, man. Hazelwood from Oklahoma is a good receiver. Trey Knox is a flex tight end that helps him out. He can line up different places. I just don't see A&M getting a ton of stops against that group.
He's Cole Cubelic. I'll let you go be dad, man. Thanks for the time as always.
I was playing wiffle ball back here in the backyard, so it's all good.
Gotcha, brother. Thank you, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. That's Cole Cubelic, courtesy of our friends at Roosters Men's Grooming. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Town Center, and then in the southeast part of Baton Rouge on Old Perkins, if you know where Blue Bayou is. I mean, directly across the entrance from Blue Bayou on Old Perkins. That's where the other Roosters is. Get the gentleman's choice, premium haircut, straight edge shave, hot towel treatment, neck massage. Treat yourself. I'm telling you, fellas, it's awesome. Even if you're, yes, we laugh about the irony of me and Cole, the both of us being bald men. But I think Roosters knew what they were doing in that instance. So get on by Roosters. Roosters MGC is in Men's Grooming Center. RoostersMGC.com. We appreciate it for sponsoring Cole's chat with us here every single week. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll hear more from Brian Kelly. We still got Tigers in the Pros. Malik Nabers in about 45 minutes from right now. Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, I want to take 60 seconds and remind you about Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. I tell you about them every single day. They're there right now. If you want to give Insurance Network of Louisiana a call, let them get started on the process to shop to find you better coverage for less money. AFR listener named Doug, Adam wrote his policy just a couple of weeks ago, saved him over $1,000 annually. No matter who you presently have your insurance with, it is so worth a call to Insurance Network of Louisiana because it is free. There is no catch. This isn't some type of shtick. There's no fine print. They shop independently to see if they can find you better coverage for less money than you have with top-rated companies in the world. It's Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call right now, 293-0450, 293-0450. Stop sitting. Call right now, 293.
Gulf Coast Bank and during this challenging event, and we're is a smart the bank that cares about you.
More calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep. All new 2022 Ram Black Widow. Warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. It's more advanced at Louisiana's.
Crime has serious consequences. Know that you have rights, and it's okay to protect you and your rights. Or drug charge, no matter what. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the
a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have? Order what you want and just show up to party.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
In 2007, I was doing a radio show with Josh Ennis. We called The Fastest Hour. Some of you might have listened to it. It's a long time now, seemingly. Shut Up Color Guy, which I've carried. Hey,
what's up?
Do you remember football in 2007?
The Appalachian State Mountaineers beat the Michigan Wolverines.
That would be it. Do you remember the call of that game?
I do.
That call was the impetus for Shut Up Color Guy. So we thought. Color analyst wouldn't shut the hell up. Microphone, leaving every listener bewildered as to what is actually transpiring because the moron, dope face color guy is his freaking mouth. Excuse me.
That was almost it.
So close.
I mean, the closest thing I've ever seen you get on radio.
That is why my voice sounds like this today, by the way. A long string of those during the Saints game. I kind of got crossed between words just there. I know you thought I was going to say what I was going to say, but that wasn't actually what I was thinking. Anyway. That is why we started Shut Up Color Guy. And I'll be gosh darned. It happened again. At App State. Again, this is how it sounded on Saturday. App State down 28. Keep in mind, App State beats Texas A&M. Great win. College game day coming to Boone, North Carolina. People are jacked out of their minds. Here comes Troy, 1-1. Into Boone, North Carolina against the Appalachian State Mountaineers. The Mountaineers have the ball at their own 47-yard line. They're 53 yards away from the end zone with just 2 seconds left. They have time for a miracle heave. Here's how it sounded on the App State Radio Network.
We'll see. See how many Troy rushes here. They have everybody back to try to knock one down. Three-man rush. Chase going to step up in the pocket. Sets. Throws high into the air. It's up for grabs. It is juggled. He got it! It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown! Miracle on the mount! Miracle part 2! It's miracle part 2! Oh, they did it! Don't give up on this! Oh my gosh! Don't you do it, baby! Don't you give up on these Mountaineers, baby! Yes, sir! Oh, my gosh! Yes, sir! What a play! Deflected back into the arms of Christian Horde. They storm the field. App State wins on Miracle on the Mountain Part 2. Final score, App State 32, Troy 28. It is great to be a Mountaineer. Woo!
Okay. So that's unfortunately how that all unfolded. Boy, that's so unfortunate too. I mean, I don't know, and you know what? The year after App State beat Michigan, they played in Tiger Stadium in the opener. And because it was billed as a battle of the defending national champs. LSU won the 07 BCS, App State won the FCS in 07. So, and the voice of the Mountaineers came in studio with us, with me and Josh. And we talked about that, the call, the guy stepping all over it, whatever. I don't know if this is the same guy, Adam Witten. I think that is him. I mean, that's been a long time. I don't know if that's that. The guy looks really young. Maybe that is still, but I don't know. But Muse, who was the color guy for the App State radio network?
It's former App State wide receiver Brandon Turner. First year on the crew this year.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hey,
What gave it away?
Brandon, I got a piece of career advice for you. It's a very important lesson for you to take throughout the rest of your career. Muse, since my voice won't allow me, I need you to do it. I just need you to do it.
Shut up, color guy.
No. It's got to be way higher.
My voice is deep. I can't get that high.
Muse,
shut up, color. I can't do it, color guy. Is that good enough?
No.
That's about as high as I can go, dude.
Muse, my voice is deep too. You take it to a place where you know you could, like the place when you're singing a song in the shower. We all know we go high pitched with our voice. Just do it for me here. Look, I'm playing hurt. Be a good teammate, Muse. Just do it for me.
Let's try one more time. Get cleared out there. Shut up, color guy. I can't. Was that high enough? I don't know.
That was such a bad effort.
It's the effort I give. At least on that.
Oh, man. I wish my voice was better just so I could do that today. First year on the broadcast. Got to do better. What's his name again?
Brandon Turner.
Brandon Turner. Do better. Like, I need somebody to clip this and send it to him just so he can understand. You know what? I'm doing it. I'll be the bad, because everyone's probably going to laud that and everything. I'm going to do it. I'm going to clip it. I'm going to find him. I'm going to tweet him, whatever I have to do, and say, hey, close your eyes and listen to this and tell me what happened. And all you're going to hear is two morons yelling because you are yelling over the color, or over the play-by-play man. So listen, young, there's probably a lot of old people think I'm just like, they'll get off my lawn guy. I'll tell you again, if you're a young aspiring broadcaster, you're the color analyst, don't ever step on the play-by-play man. That's one. And if you want to hear how it's done, I'll give you two instances. Go listen to the Bluegrass Miracle. Doug Morrow does not say a word on Jim Hawthorne's call. Not a word. And go listen to Warren Morris's home run. Bill Franquez keeps his mouth shut for like 90 seconds. Lets the whole thing breathe. It's perfectly done. Perfectly done. Sometimes the scene tells the story. And then sometimes, sometimes it sounds like this.
Throws high into the air. It's up for grabs. It is juggled. He got it! It's a touchdown! Miracle Part 2! It's Miracle Part 2!
Okay, that's it. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. Oh, it's really late. We'll be back.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org. Wonder if they got anything for sore throat. brgeneral.org, where you can learn more about all of the different services that the Baton Rouge General offers at the Mid-City location, where they have the Regional Burn Center. I almost dropped that earlier. Oh, my God. It's sinking in right now how close I think I had the FU part almost to the C. Anyway, brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. Again, the Mid-City location, the Bluebonnet Hospital, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, and the Express Care locations. So if you're, of course, in Dutchtown, if you're on Nicholson or Highland, just to the Southgate's Express Care locations, walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. You can always check wait times or check in online at brgeneral.org or on the Baton Rouge General at brgeneral.org. The Baton Rouge General Hospital, expanding healthcare in the Baton Rouge area. Online, brgeneral.org.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boot education, engineering, legal, and finance units. Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Got to go quickly here. Give credit where it's due. I've told you this before, but you really should listen to Jimmy Ott on Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday if you're a sports bettor. He has a compilation of some of the best sharp minds and on the show giving picks, and Jimmy wraps up the show with his. This was Jimmy's 5-pack. This was his first selection yesterday.
Here are the recap of the picks for me. Jets +7, Detroit pick'em, Saints Bucs under 44.5, Atlanta +10, and under 41.5, Chicago and Green Bay.
So, if you're scoring at home, Jimmy gave you Atlanta. He gave you the Jets. He gave you the Lions. He gave you the Cardinals. And he gave you the under in the Chicago-Green Bay game. That was a 5-0 day for the Oddfather yesterday. And by the way, Paul Nolan, who was on with him as well, gave you the under in the Saints-Bucs. So if you played them all, you were 6-0 yesterday. And Jimmy will be with us a little less than an hour from right now to wrap up the show, and he'll give you his pick for Monday Night Football. Dude's giving out money. I'm just trying to help you be a conduit to help you pay for your kids' college. That's all I'm saying. If he's giving out money, If he's just cashing tickets, make you money, y'all. AFR, hour number. Are we late? My clock is off then. How much time do I have? That's why I'm. Okay, 15 seconds. All right. Hour number 3 is coming straight up. Get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. When we come back, Brian Kelly. Clock is like 30 seconds off. We got to get. Why don't we have a clock in this studio? Brian Kelly, what do you have to say today? Recapping Mississippi State next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michelle. It's 5608. Brought to you by Michelle Weighing and Measurement. Michelle.com. Michelle.com. 29 offices, 11 different states, sea to shining sea. It's Michelle Weighing and Measurement. Great sponsor and supporter as well of Whiskey and Wine with the postgame show. We appreciate Joel McMullen and all the awesome people over at Michelle for being great supporters of what we do. And Michelle's been a great supporter of our communities for 75 years. Think about how many businesses come and go in the span of a couple of years, even just since COVID. 75 years. Think about everything that Michelle as a business has seen since they opened up in 1947, just after World War II. That's how long they've been in business. It's Michelle Weighing and Measurement. You weigh or measure something they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Hit the services tab. You can see everything they do. They are an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. So learn more at Michelle.com. And they are hiring. Hit the careers tab at Michelle.com. Michelle.com.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different in a way that truly is different.
Pearl oyster. Enjoy an oyster. And don't Baton Rouge.
He's been into. What do you?
My thing.
I am. Got
Performed great.
my advice, as I always told my boys,
Do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
This is SportsCenter.
Receiver Gabe Davis with an ankle injury, not expected to play tonight versus the Titans. Monday Night Football, 7:15 Eastern, ESPN TV. The NFL suspended Buccaneers receiver Mike Evans one game for his role in yesterday's altercation with Saints corner Marshon Lattimore. He's not eligible to return until after Sunday's game versus Green Bay. Evans plans to appeal his suspension. 49ers released a statement. Quarterback Trey Lance underwent successful season-ending surgery today on his broken right ankle. So now Jimmy Garoppolo, again the starter. That could actually work out for San Francisco, according to ESPN's Ryan Clark.
If you're the San Francisco 49ers, although you wanted to get Jimmy G out of there, you hope to get something in the trade. This is just a lucky happenstance. Now with Trey Lance out, you saw the immediate impact of Jimmy G being comfortable, being able to get the ball to Ayuk, get the ball out to Deebo Samuel, and this team now has a chance, even with a quote-unquote backup.
Police in Las Vegas say they're investigating allegations a fan in the stands struck Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray amid celebrations of Arizona's overtime win against the Raiders.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Winning weekend for the Tigers. Saints come up short. Mike Evans suspended today for his role in the melee, starting the melee that happened in the Dome on Sunday. Saints regroup. Got a game against Carolina this week. Then they head overseas. So tough sledding ahead. We'll get an update on Jameis Winston as well when Dennis Allen meets with the media to see what his prognosis is. I mean, we learned Jameis has 4 fractured vertebrae, and I can respect the warrior mentality. I can respect getting out there and trying to play hurt. But when it comes to the detriment of the team, you have to tap out, or someone has to tap you out. And that's what it felt like in that game yesterday, because Jameis was just objectively very bad. And he has been a better player than that during his time in New Orleans. And he and Dennis Allen both downplayed the injury, but I don't know how you can objectively look at a man playing with 4 fractured vertebrae, thinking that didn't affect his just running decisions at times when he didn't, his accuracy throwing the football, etc. So we'll see how that transpires throughout the week. Okay, Malik Nabers in about 10 minutes from right now. And Malik Nabers, boy, what a game he had, especially on the had-to-have-it drive late in the football game when LSU was up 1. They scored to go up 17-16 off the muff. They force a 3-and-out. They get the ball and then put together the dagger. 14-play, 85-yard drive. 3 third down and a 4th down conversion on that drive by Malik Nabers. We'll talk to him about it in about 10 minutes from right now. So LSU beats Mississippi State 31-16. And as we were doing the postgame show, if there was one thing kind of consistently that kept popping up, it was this question of Jaden Daniels running the football and why he continues to tuck and run and at times maybe passing up throws. So I want to be very clear, that my opinion on this is understood. So there's no ambiguity. I think Jayden Daniels is, by a mile at this point, your best option at quarterback. There really isn't even a conversation to be had as to whether or not you should play Daniels or Nussmeier. Nussmeier's shortcomings are that he does not protect the football. That's been his MO. We saw it against Southern. There just is no conversation to be had. Jayden Daniels is playing winning football. He's moving the ball through the air, on the ground with his feet when there's nothing else. If the pocket's breaking down, he can make dynamic plays running. He is protecting the football in the passing game. He's making good decisions with the football. He is playing winning football. For 3 quarters against Florida State, he was your only offense. And then when you went tempo, he obviously led a charge to come back. He was incredibly efficient and effective against Southern. I understand the competition. And then he was your offense. He led you in rushing with 16 attempts for 93 yards on Saturday, and then he threw for 210 as well. Had a better completion percentage than Will Rogers, better rating, all that sort of stuff. So that has to exist on one hand to say Jayden Daniels is your best option, and that's not even a question. The other part, which is also true, is yes, there's room for improvement. There was one play in particular that I would have never noticed real-time watching ESPN until they showed the end zone view of the play. But it was a 3rd and 8 late in the ball game, and Daniels ran it for 10 yards. So he converted. He on a 3rd and 8, he ran for 10 yards. Excuse me. It was on that drive I just mentioned. It was 3rd and 8, excuse me. And Daniels ran the ball for 10 yards to convert. And it was actually the play before Armani Goodwin's 47-yard touchdown run. It was 3rd and 8. Daniels ran it for 10 yards. They showed the end zone view of that play, and you could see that Kayshon Boutte was lined up on the right side, and he ran a route that broke toward the sideline, and he was open. And had Daniels hit him, he probably turns upfield and scores. But Daniels didn't throw the ball. Instead, he ran. It was 3rd and 8. He ran for 10 yards, got the first down. That's a winning play. You moved the sticks. You kept the drive alive. That is true. Also true is if he puts the ball in the air to number 7, Kayshon Boutte scores his first touchdown of the season, and there's your dagger play either way. So both of those realities are true. That Jayden Daniels has been efficient. He has been effective through the air and with his feet. He has protected the football. He's playing winning football, and he will win you games this year. The other part of that is also true, which is he has room for improvement. So I asked Brian Kelly that question today at his press conference, and the way I asked it is I intentionally asked it in a very open-ended way to see what direction he would go with it. And the way I asked the question was, do you think Jayden Daniels is running too much? And this is what he said.
When we evaluate when he runs, we want to see that if it was within the progression and, it was a really good coverage, or maybe that play wasn't great against this coverage, or we got beat at the, a particular position and he got flushed, versus you turned down a potential high-low read and you took off. Right? So that's what we're trying to evaluate. And it's really a little bit of both. I think there's still growth there where we can stay a little bit more patient and a little bit more locked in on the progression. And then there are sometimes the really dynamic runs that there was just nothing there and he made something happen. So you want to be careful where you go, hey, you're running too much. And then when he needs to be dynamic, he's not. So we have to be very careful and along the way keep coaching him to really do a great job of getting through his progressions and seeing the things necessary that allows us to be balanced in both.
Thought it was a great answer that made a ton of sense. One of the things that makes Jayden Daniels so special is when something isn't there, he can turn it into a positive. The first play of the game against Florida State, pocket was breaking down. He busted around left end for 25 yards. That's the dynamic ability Brian Kelly's talking about. And you don't want to ever limit that by saying, hey, quit running, stay in the pocket. But similarly, got to keep your eyes downfield, notice when there's a play to be made. Look Look, there was a moment in the game where I thought he did a beautiful job of that. And it was the play to Brian Thomas, where Brian Thomas got 15 yards and the defender was almost ripped his shirt. He was dragging him down the field. That was a play where we have seen Jaden Daniels tuck and run. But in that moment, he was very patient. He went up to the line of scrimmage, kind of kept his eyes downfield, rolled on the line, and made an accurate throw. So you're seeing good, and you're seeing room for progression and improvement as well. That's going to be part of this season, is getting Jaden Daniels comfortable in the offense, comfortable with his receivers, comfortable with the timing, comfortable with his protection. A big part of this, too, is that in 3 games, you've used 3 different lineups on your offensive line. The only guy that started in the same spot all 3 games is your true freshman left tackle, Will Campbell. As the season goes along, you would expect that first 5 to solidify, protection to improve, and Jaden Daniels maybe doesn't feel the need to run and evade pressure like maybe he does right now because of what happened early in that Florida State game. So I think specifically with Jaden, it's part of the conversation that we're having with the whole season, which is there's going to be some really good, there's going to be some head scratchers, but over the course of the season, I think you're going to look back and go, man, look how far this team has come over the course of 12 games. And I think the same is going to be true with Jaden. I think as he gets more comfortable with the offense, with the play calling, with his receivers and timing and routes and rhythm and protection and everything, he keeps getting better and better as well. Look, maybe a big part of that issue is solidifying your offensive line, and maybe we started to get that answer on Saturday. Emory Jones started at right tackle, so you had 2 true freshmen starting at tackle. But Cody Worsham tweeted this out. In the SEC, Will Campbell graded out 1st. Emory Jones graded out 4th in pass protection this weekend for the entire league. Brian Kelly today, on Monday, did talk about the day that Emory Jones had in his first start.
I would say that he exceeded expectations. Look, he's not going to be perfect, but he's active. He's got great feet, and he is a great open field tackler.
Isn't that a great illustration of his athleticism that you're talking about, where Emory Jones goes and tracks down a returner to make an open field tackle? So a lot of progress and a really encouraging win for LSU. And you just keep watching them improve week to week to week to week. And you got another opportunity to go iron out some of the kinks this week with New Mexico coming in before you head to Auburn, who, look, man, Auburn plays Missouri this week at home. They're a touchdown favorite. If Auburn lays down and gets beat, I mean, is Brian Harsin even there when LSU goes there to start October? We'll find out. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're shopping for a vehicle, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Put Volkswagen on your list. If you've never driven a Volkswagen, if you've never thought about a Volkswagen, just put it on your list. Go to southpointvw.com. Hit the new vehicles tab. Every vehicle, it's on the lot, it's online. There's an Atlas Crossport 2.0 Sport Edition with technology. You can see pictures of the exact vehicle that's on the lot. You can see all of the different features that exact vehicle has. And you can go test drive it at Airline just north of Highland at South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. If they don't have what you're looking for, they'll order it. It's South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here on this Monday. If you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. Cole Cubelic, last hour. Open the show Saints loss in the second segment. We did start our stuff. If you missed any of it, you can always catch it on demand. Quick break. When we come back, who was massive on drive, which gave LSU some breathing room in the fourth quarter. Malik Nabers is next. Is here. And even though the thermostat may not say it every single into September, we are steamrolling toward October. I mean, it is officially fall. So right now at Clegg's, they've got pumpkins, scarecrows, and witches. Halloween and fall season. Fall. They've got fall bedding plants, your vegetable gardens. They've got so many options at Clegg's. If you want to decorate for the fall season, any of the 4 locations, Segan near Airline, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you, for 60 years with fall here. If you want to get decorated for the fall season, Clegg's can help. That's Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks, professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Creating healthcare for Kelly.
Learning how to cook. And I created JD's Louisiana to you at home for your back. Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. You look.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Williams in the backfield, 4th and 3. Gonna loft it downfield. Nabers again.
hits it. It's been a dynamic combination for the Tigers. Daniels to Nabers. First down, LSU.
Tigers 1-0 in SEC play, in large part thanks to this guy. LSU's leading receiver, Malik Nabers, joins us for a couple of minutes. Malik, congrats on the win, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much.
Man, it's my pleasure. Great to have you back on the show. Hey, man, 14-play, 85-yard touchdown drive there in the fourth quarter. You had conversions on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, 4th and 3. What was working so well on that drive for you?
I say just Jayden understanding the coverages and just checking the routes to give us, the first down plays that we had made.
Man, when it's going like that for you, dude, I'm sitting there actually watching the game where we do our post-game show, and I'm like, they got to feed Malik here. I mean, it's just it on every single third. It's like they got to throw it. Like, of course they're going to throw it to Nabers. They can't cover him. What was Mississippi State doing that made you that primary target there?
I think they was just more conservative. It was in more cover 4, and it was just blitzing the 2 linebackers and just didn't have nobody underneath. So they was just giving me so much room to work, outside releases and just get open on the sideline.
I mean, is it one of those things where when you come to the line, like you look at what they're doing and you go, "Yep, this is me"?
I say most of the time. It depends on the play, because they do decoys, like looks that you might think is the right coverage, but then it's not. They switch it when the ball is snapped. But from pre-snap, it looks like the route that they give us. It's all the time. I think that I'm getting the ball because I can find soft spots in like the zones or in man. I can beat my man one-on-one. So it's like I come to the line just ready to make a play.
Hey man, every time they let us come watch practice, we talked about it, man. Every time you made a catch, boy, you sure like to let people know you made the catch. Whenever, and I love that in a receiver. So when it's going like that for you, man, you come back in the huddle. What are you talking to Jay and you're saying, "Feed me"? What are you saying to Mississippi State? Like, put me on the field in those situations.
So we was up by 1 in the fourth quarter. So that was the drive. That we had to do, like, to take the lead by like 8, because if we don't, we give Mississippi State the back the ball, and they chew a lot of the clock away. So that drive was important. So it's like me coming off the sideline, 4th and 3. Taking my coaches, they asking me how he's playing me. So I said, on certain downs, they're telling me they're playing me off. That's why I was able to complete so much third downs. So he was like, look, if they're gonna line up, closer to you because they don't want to give up the outside out again. So we're gonna just throw a fade to him if he playing in man. And if they're not, we got a zone sitter with Jure on the outside. So I lined up pre-snap. He was playing off a little bit, but then as the play went on, he started to get closer and closer. So I pointed at him. I said, "Jay needs man." So it just, I know my quarterback. It's like if it's a man on me one-on-one, he's gonna take it all the time. So, it was just pre-snap that me and Jaden was already connected.
How about the throw, man? I mean, that's 4th and 3, and he dropped it in the bucket downfield. How about that throw?
That was a beautiful throw. I had a good release. I just knew it was coming. Got my eyes back. Was able to track the ball and just made a good play on the ball.
Malik Nabers is with us through 3 games, leading LSU in receptions, receiving yards, and yards per reception. Malik's with us on behalf of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, doing great work in the community. We appreciate Malik for a couple of minutes here. I want to ask, look, we were sitting there watching the game on Saturday, and a lot of people brought up, obviously, the Muffs against Florida State. Said, man, it feels so good to watch Malik in this spot come up the way he did. Was that in your mind? Did it feel like a little vindication for you?
No, I say, after the game, I was pretty upset with myself. But, seeing my teammates, just keep my head up, it was like I ran on from the side and it was all telling me I'm good, you're a good player, don't let this, hold you back. And just to see those guys, not putting their heads down, they was all worried about me picking my head up, and just see those guys, come up to me and was so concerned about me. It just made me, want to work harder and, just able to do more for my teammates and my team. So, I put that in the past. I was just focused on, getting better every day, coming out to practice, if it's I got to catch extra punts, extra kick returns, do anything for the team. I was trying to, do that so I wouldn't have to make them feel like that or myself feel like that anymore.
And Malik, when you're obviously as physically gifted, as talented a player as you are, I mean, you, especially in high school, I can't imagine you faced much adversity or many, struggles. You probably had a lot of great games. Was that game against Florida State? Would you say that was your biggest adversity you faced as a football player?
Yeah, I told my coach that I was like, I never had any bad games. It's probably like, my worst bad game that I thought, I just made too many mistakes. I told him, I was like, that's my first bad game. He was like, they was gonna have you're gonna face many more bad games. Especially at the level that I'm playing at. It's more constant, it's more consistent. So, it's just something that I had to go through just to understand. I'm just I'm human. Like I'm always mess up. It's just how I react.
Well, it was a heck of a response on Saturday night. LSU moves to 1-0 in conference play. The other thing, too, Malik, is you look at that position group, and it's just such an obvious strength for this team. And there's a very obvious question, which is, like, everybody's got to eat. There's only one ball to go around. How do you keep everybody happy? So if I asked you, like, what's it like in the receiver room right now where you got so many talented guys and, not everybody's going to be push the ball always. What's the mentality there with the receiver group, considering they're just, not everybody is having a great opportunity right now to start the season?
I would say, always be ready. Like we got receivers in here that, that's always ready, that can go in any time of the game and change the game. So it's hard for, defenses to like stop that. We got 3 receivers up. If we go sit down, they got 3 more receivers that's talented that can go out and play. So, it's always about being ready, so because last year it was the same thing, it was a big talented group that we had, when stuff started hitting the fan, it's other players that have stepped up, like Jack has stepped up, I have stepped up, Jure has stepped up, had to go play, the number 1 position outside. So, it's about always being ready because you never know, what goes on into the season. People get hurt, people start, not performing so well. So, it's like you got to do what's best to win. So, you just got to always be ready.
Got a couple more here for Malik Nabers, LSU sophomore wide receiver, joining us on AFR, courtesy of our friends Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You mentioned Jaden a bit ago. You and I, you mentioned on the 4th down play, you kind of caught his eye and you all made that on-field communication. All of fall camp was a battle. It was Jaden and Garrett. It was back and forth. How is he settled in as the leader of the offense and of the team?
By being a leader, having that leader role as a QB, that's everything, For your QB, to come up to you, when you make a mistake and just keep your head up, or even, after he makes a mistake, he just comes up to us, say, we all right, we're good, walks around, to the lineman, telling them, let's go, we got to start fast, we got to keep rolling, don't put our head down, so that's a good role to have from a QB because, when stuff go bad, you need somebody like that to lead you and to keep you focused on the game. So that's how he have improved into the offense this year.
Got New Mexico State this week, then a road trip to Auburn. Malik, I'll get you out of here with this one. How or do you feel, is there a different feeling around this team from week 1, the loss to Florida State, to now, the overwhelming win against Southern, the comeback win against Mississippi State? It looks like you all are building a ton of confidence and consistency. How do you feel differently now than you did 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago, got that loss. It was an awful feeling, just walking around, we just, we felt like, we should have came out fast, we should have beat that team, but you just never want to face that feeling no more of losing. So, walking around, we just had like that nasty feeling that we wanted to take out. So, just able to come back and work with these guys, we never hold our head, we still had our same leaders, that wanted us to perform at our highest level when we play on Saturday. So, more that we've been running with right now, and that's just the best thing that I can say right now.
He is Malik Nabers, LSU sophomore wide receiver, currently leading the team in receptions, receiving yards, yards per catch. No doubt more great things to come as the season goes along. We appreciate our friends at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys for making this conversation happen as Malik is part of the G team there with Gordon and getting it done. Malik, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Best of luck this week against New Mexico and moving on through the rest of the season.
Thank you. Have a good day.
It is our pleasure. Malik Nabers is with us. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. The Williamson Eye Center can help. Schedule that annual eye exam. If you need to buy contacts or glasses, they have their optical shops. Of course, eye surgery. If it's LASIK, if it's PRK, if it's a lens replacement, Dr. Blake Williamson, his great staff at the Williamson Eye Center, go for that free consultation. No matter your age or refractive issue, they have a solution to where you can see 20/20 without contacts or glasses. So call 924-2020 or log on to WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. I love the answer that Malik gave. And thanks again to Malik for making that happen with us today. I love the answer that he gave when I was asking him about the fourth down play and what it was like being on the field. I mean, it's a huge moment in the game. It's 4th and 3. You're up by 1. You're putting together what ended up being a 14-play, 85-yard drive. He had converted 3 times prior on that drive. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 1. 3 times prior he had converted. So now they're 4th and 3. And, man, it was just a great, it was a great recognition. It's a young guy who he and Jaden Daniels talk about getting timing together. I mean, he basically said, Jaden, they got me man covered. And he knew he was in man and made a guy miss, got some space. Jaden just threw it up. I mean, 4th and 3, that is as a quarterback, that's trusting your receiver to make a play. 4th and 3. And he just put it up. And Malik rewarded him, got space, went and made the play, which was awesome. And, of course, 2 plays later, LSU was in the end zone and had an 8-point lead. So we appreciate Malik Nabers, man. Always an engaging guy. We appreciate his candor coming back after the really disappointing performance against Florida State where he muffed a couple of punts and nobody felt worse about it than he did. But to have the day he did on Saturday, more great moments for Malik Nabers to come, no doubt. All right, it's after further review. LSU's win was certainly one big takeaway this past weekend in college football. Something we'll do every Monday here in hour number 3. Our big college football takeaways from the weekend. Me, Paulie, Muse will give you our 3 biggest college football takeaways from this past weekend. We'll do that, and we'll get to Otter Locks here in a little more than 10 minutes, about 15 minutes from right now. Jimmy will give you his picks 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. We'll see what the Otter likes. We'll get to that here in just a moment. I want to remind you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. A couple things I want to remind you. Number 1 is if Ida landed where you live, there's a chance you have roof damage and don't know it. And you have 2 years from the storm to file a claim. So here's what I would recommend. If Ida passed a year ago and there was just a lot of hullabaloo after the storm as you would expect, and you just said, I'll get to it later, it's a great time to circle back. As a lot of the storm work has calmed down, this is a great time to get something done quickly. Free, no right there on the homepage, you'll see seconds. HudcoRoofing.com. It's easy for every job. Homeowner can. We will contact deal with that. Doesn't matter. We're HudcoRoofing.com. Do.com. On AFR.
Come on over to Corp to build your. You're looking for Corvette Toyota in Appaloosa.
Post Bank and anytime during this challenge. mobile banking app is a smart way to manage about you.
Attention to detail.
Have years, but many companies think makes Luba a bit different in a way that who depend on us.
Gulf Coast office based right here. The legal and for you. Call at 7.
Disinfectant. Serving the New Orleans. Follow CDC and OSHA standards. Plans. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oyster. Watering South Louisiana. Nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
Grilling is my thing.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born.
No.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got...
all started.
That's right. The Tiger.
This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating health.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Okay, what did we learn week 3 in college football?
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
I'll go first. Auburn stinks. Phil Steele had Auburn as one of his most improved teams in college football. I think Phil got that wrong. Not only did they lose, but they got pounded at home 41-12, a game that was a virtual toss-up. Auburn has now won just twice in their last 8 games. They're 2-6 in their last 8. And they've hit 24 points in fewer than 6 of those. They can't score. Their offense stinks. There's no hope. They got 5 ranked teams on the schedule ahead. It's going to get worse, and Brian Harson's going to get fired. Auburn stinks. Muse.
Matt, Auburn stinks, but Kansas is good.
Kansas is good.
The Jayhawks,
what
man.
Happened?
Dynamic quarterback Jalen Daniels, Lance Leopold, the head coach, leading that offensive attack. It was one thing to beat Tennessee Tech 56-10, right? Tennessee Tech's not good, but to go on the road at West Virginia in the Big 12, hang 55, to go on the road to Houston, everyone's group of 5 darling before the season, hang 48, 3-0 for the Jayhawks. Undefeated matchup with Duke coming up this weekend. They're 9-point favorites, Matt. Kansas is going bowling this year. Kansas is going bowling this year. The Jayhawks are good.
Kansas is a 9-point favorite over a Power 5 opponent.
Bowling.
It's Duke.
Still.
But it's Kansas.
If you would have been told that two years ago, you'd have laughed.
The weird thing about Kansas they hired Lance Leopold from Wisconsin Whitewater. He won a bunch of D3 titles. But that's what K-State did with Kleeman.
Yeah. And
that has certainly had very mixed results. But remember, Jim Tressel was at Youngstown. He was an FCS coach, and they, sometimes if a guy just knows how to win, he knows how to win. Lance Leopold is building that thing. It's kind of incredible.
Rock chalk.
All right, Paulie, what did you learn?
Kansas might be good, but Georgia's on another level.
Yeah, that's true.
So they beat South Carolina 48-7.
Yes.
Let's not forget that they beat Oregon week 1 49-3. Oregon just beat BYU 41-20.
You going all transit property on me here?
Maybe.
Okay.
Everybody thought BYU was good. Let's not forget, Georgia's defense lost 5 first-round picks from a year ago. They can't be stopped.
You calling Natty right now? If I gave you Georgia or the field, would you take Georgia or the field?
That's tough. I'd probably take the field.
Oh, they can't be stopped. Unless if they can be. All right, we each have 3. My second, Arkansas escaped. You realize that was at one point a 17-7 ball game. Bobby Petrino, Missouri State, former Arkansas coach. Arkansas needed a 73-yard touchdown pass and then a punt return for a touchdown to escape what would have been the biggest upset of the season and one that would have mired Arkansas forever. The Arkan frauds have a chance to prove they're not frauds this weekend. They play Texas A&M in Arlington. We'll see how that goes. They should win that game. But boy, did they escape disaster this weekend.
This one will be music to your ears, Matt. 3 weeks into the college football season, and the group of 5 is dead it comes to playoff hopes.
Thank God.
BYU.
Kick rocks, losers.
They just lost. They had to run the table. And if they did, their schedule was that they would make the playoff.
Yes.
There's 3 group of 5 teams undefeated right now. Tulane, Coastal Carolina, James Madison.
No shot.
They're not going to run the table, and even if they do, the strength of schedule isn't there. Group of 5, no playoff in 2022.
I would have been okay with BYU because of the schedule. And technically, they're not a G5. They're an independent who's viewed as a G5, but they're going to be in the Power 5 with the Big 12 soon. All right. Paulie.
Is Michigan the real deal?
The more you know.
So they're ranked 4th in the country, and they have now scored 50 or more points in their first 3 games for the first time in school history.
Oh, look at that little tidbit. Hashtag show prep.
Their first 3 opponents, Colorado State, Hawaii, Connecticut.
Absolutely.
They're combined 1-9 right now.
Shout out Jim Mora.
They're outscoring their opponents 166-17. Their next test is against Maryland. We'll see.
Not really much of a test either. My last one, I thought Oklahoma made a statement against Nebraska. So much of the focus was on Mickey Joseph. How would Nebraska respond? They got up 7-0. Hell, I bet them. I bet Nebraska with the points. I'm like, give me all them points at home. Emotional, you're playing for the new coach. After the coach gets fired, you usually see a bounce. Remember Ed Ogeron against Missouri after Les gets fired. LSU blasts him. Sometimes you have that emotional sort of uprising. The exact opposite happened. Oklahoma came in and just pounded Nebraska. We know Nebraska's not great, but I think Oklahoma is actually really good. Dylan Gabriel, the UCF transfer, is their quarterback. I don't see right now, anyway, a competitor for Oklahoma in the Big 12. It's not to say they'll run the table, but obviously if they do, the Big 12 will have a seat in the college football playoff this year. Oklahoma looks like the real deal. Brent Venables getting his first shot as a head coach.
The Penn State Nittany Lions have me feeling very unsettled about the Big Ten. I think we all assumed Ohio State would just roll through that league, and Paul's asking about Michigan. They haven't played anybody, so you don't know. Wisconsin got upset. Penn State has the best 2 wins so far through 3 weeks in the entire conference. At Purdue, at Auburn, 2 hostile road environments, and they looked good. Veteran quarterback, pretty good head coach in James Franklin. Penn State early staking a claim in the Big Ten. Unsettled right now, I feel like, in that league.
I could flip it and say Purdue's not good, and neither is Auburn. And they needed a miracle to get out of Purdue.
Could, but again,
Purdue just lost at Syracuse.
They did on a last-second play. I was very happy about that, but that's not the point.
Me too.
Go
Orange.
Go Orange. I just think, look, but Ohio State, Notre Dame, you can flip it there. They're not good either. And they had to, kind of fight more than many thought. They were a 3-touchdown favorite in that game.
I think Notre Dame is better than we think right now. They're not playing great, but they were all. I watched that whole game against Cal. They were all in on that Ohio State game. They got to get off the mat. All right, Paulie, your last one.
USC under the radar. Caleb Williams had 4 total touchdowns against Fresno State. He has 874 passing yards on the season already, 8 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, no interceptions. Him and Lincoln Riley have not missed a beat since leaving Oklahoma. I think they're under the radar.
Aren't they in the top 10?
They're ranked 7th. And no one's talking about them.
How are you under the radar if you're ranked 7th? They went from unranked. Were they unranked in the preseason?
No, I don't think so. I think they were ranked preseason. I don't know.
Don't just arbitrarily throw out things you don't know, Muse. If you know, If you know, say it.
They were. I don't know what they were ranked, but they were ranked preseason. Yes.
Okay, let's see. USC preseason was,
at least in the AP poll, they were ranked
14. So they're 14 in the preseason, in AP 15 in the coaches. So they're up to 7. So you think there's still people are still sleeping on the Trojans?
I think so.
Okay, that's what we learned this week in college football. So a little maiden voyage on that. Kind of liked it.
It's fun.
Tried it on. Kind of walk. Like when you're in the shoe store, you put the shoe on, you walk around a little bit. Your socks really don't match the shoes. It doesn't really fit, but you got to feel it.
Just that one shoe too.
Had the one shoe.
One shoe on, one shoe off type thing.
A little lopsided. How does it walk around a little? Do you have enough room for the toe in the front? That's kind of.
Got to get down and hit it with the thumb.
Yeah, you got to press the little thing. All right, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Auto Locks is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air. Remember, nights, holidays, weekends, they will always come out if you have an AC issue, and they'll never charge you extra to come out. They're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. Always tell you about seasonal maintenance, which is important for both your AC and your heater, but also at River City's 1 Hour Air, whenever it comes time to replace your AC. Something that most of us only do a couple times in our life, hopefully. You want to make sure that you have a professional install. And River City's 1 Hour Air does that every single time. We learned this after the flood in 2016. So many people hired fly-by-night companies to come by and install a new AC unit within a year, ripping it out because of a bad install. Trust the professionals at River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, reliefwindows.com. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable, the of an incomprehensible, the 5-0 yesterday. Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing really good. Really good today. Six different contributors on Football Sundays. They all have, 4 of them have one best guess. They all won. The other 2, Andy Isco and Paul Nolan, have 2. They one went 1-0, one went 2-0. They both have Philadelphia tonight, and I went 5-0. Combined 12-0 yesterday on Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday.
Give me a ding. Give me a ding.
I mean, ding,
oh my
ding,
God.
ding, 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 ding.
I was literally, so I drove, I Ubered home from Don Juan on Saturday. So on Sunday, Erica brought me to get my car. I'm driving home to be home in time for the Saints game. So I'm listening intentionally to Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday to get your picks at the end. So I'm like, right before all the noon kickoffs, like, hand on the wheel, one eye on the head. I'm like, get him in, get him in. All right, so I'm assuming you like the Eagles tonight.
Yeah, I do. They're fine 2.5. If you've got multiple shots, multiple outs. There's some 2.5s and there's some 3s at really light juice.
Right.
But I like Christian Bev River says -3, -103. But that 2.5 it's big. I do like Tennessee plus the points tonight. I know it takes onions to go against this Buffalo Bills team right now. I get it, but that is a big number. I faded the teams that really stunk in Week 1, whether it's Dallas, Arizona, the Jets. The Jets had some help yesterday, but. Hit those, and then I'm going against the teams that look good. No one looks better other than the Bills.
1 minute remaining.
To the point where I jumped on and bet a future bet for them to win the Super Bowl at 6-1. I just think they're so much better than everybody else in the AFC. But Tennessee is 10 points. This is overreaction week. points tonight.
Got her.
We'll the show tonight with some memories about my first broadcast partner in 1990, Charles Barbery, the Rooster.
Amen. We talked about the Rooster a bit earlier today. Great.
Yeah.
Adara said, if Charles Barbery isn't in heaven today, none of us have a shot.
Yes, no doubt.
All right, Adara.
No doubt.
Have a great show, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
That's going to do it for. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 on AFR. Take 60 seconds to remind you about Mold Zero. USA.com. That's Mold-Zero USA. Service the entire areas. Page. You'll see the phone number for Baton Rouge and the phone number for New Orleans, depending on where you are. You can always get a free estimate. And if you want to get in touch with them online, you can do that. Mold Zero, it's very simple. They killed mold and they remove odors. Home, office. This is a patented dry fog. About it. We're not talking about demolition. This is an easy, safe way to remove mold and odor. It's Mold Zero. Mold-Zero USA.com. Mold-Zero USA.com.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.